smile, please. Like, it's not a mortuary. We're here to have fun and to learn. Okay, real quick. Just by the way of an icebreaker, I don't want everybody to be looking a bit uptight. I want everybody to chill out, just relax. We're going to do something together. I want us to tell a story together. And there's so many of us, so I'm just going to pick 20 random people in the crowd. So I'll start the story. I will say one sentence. The next person says the next sentence till we get to the 20th person who ends the story. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Story. Once upon a time, there was a girl. Her name was BC. She went to Ife.
Ife was a city known for its culture.
She was a student of politics, philosophy, and economics.
The makeup artist, and she's doing really good.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
I have a very good friend in the Department of Local Government Studies. They study together. One day she went to start training in local government studies, and on her way back, something happened.
She saw activate contest and decided to go.
This person is melancholic.
She met this amazing man who blew her mind.
And after 3 weeks, they received the invitation for the
The guy was quite domineering and
oh my god.
He wasn't really helping her with her business. And
oh my god.
She got a tip from Activate Conference and she used it to help get out of the issue.
Then she met another guy. Luckily for her, he's working at Shell and he got her a job opportunity.
She eventually got married.
And then she wrote a book about her life.
Aww.
And she became an inspiration to many women. She organized her own conference too.
PC wasn't so submissive. She got married, and she didn't know how to cook culture. She was the only child of her mother and another is but she got some things from her together. I don't know if anybody will actually. I know Modupe Akinsiun actually spoke to us about balancing your whole life, not just career and all of that. So I learned that.
Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, my name is Delphine Okoba, aka the Delphinator. Yes, like the Terminator. That's my name on Instagram, on social media generally, across board. So if you want to find me, that's the Delphinator. TheDelphinator. That's me. So I have a background in architecture. I went to the University of Lagos. I have a master's degree in environmental design. That is what I thought I was going to do with my life. But you know how life just comes at you, you know? Ever since I was a little girl, I thought that architecture is what I wanted to do. And I was convinced that that's what I wanted to do. I went to school for 7 whole years. I studied architecture. And I came out. I actually did practice for 3 years. I worked in an infrastructure development firm for 3 years. It was fun, enjoyed some of it, but it started becoming frustrating. And then I remembered that I used to do media when I was in school. So I had a job with Sound City at the time. I was with them for 2 years. I worked with their fashion line called Spice TV. Anybody knows Spice TV? Yeah, so I was on a couple of shows on that channel for a while. And then school started to suffer, so I went back to school and left media. Anyway, so 3 years after working in an infrastructure development firm, I remembered that I love media. And I started doing red carpet hosting, comparing events and stuff. And I realized that, wait, so I'm making money from this thing and I actually enjoy doing it. Why don't I just do it full time? So, being the crazy person that I am, I decided I was going to do media full time. Well, here I am. I'm not on any TV station yet, but I decided to wing it. So I have a show on YouTube. It's called The Delphinator TV. I'm very passionate about movies. I enjoy watching films. I enjoy talking about films. So that's what I talk about on that channel. So if you want to look it up later, we'll talk about it. So I'm just going to talk about my journey. Before I came here, I was talking to a friend about how being here, I feel sort of, kind of a little bit like a fraud. Because in my mind, I'm like, what have I achieved that these people are calling me to come and speak? Do you understand? Had you ever feel like that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But then I realized that everybody's journey is different. Everybody's life journey is unique. There's no hard and fast rule. You know how motivational speakers come and say 5 lovely ways to make money in 5 years? Like there's a hard and fast rule, like there's a formula, there's no such thing. Life comes at you fast, trust me. So all we speakers here can do is tell you our stories, tell you how we have come far, like in our own journey. So we're all just winging it, really. Nobody has it all figured out. Let me just tell you the truth. Anyway, so I'm just going to go right into it. They asked me to talk about basically how to find your passion and pursue your interests. I'll say the number one thing that I did was to explore. Are we writing? Explore. So while I was in secondary school, I did literally any and everything. I was in the drama club, I was in the school choir, I used to run for my school. I did 100 and 200 meters dash. I was quite badass, if I might say so myself. Anyways, I was in the art group. I pretty much did any and everything. Some people here are lucky enough to be born and just know exactly what they want to do. I'm not one of those people. I tried so many things. And then my gap year before I entered uni, I worked as a sales girl, yes, in a fast food joint in my estate at the time. It was one of the best years of my life. I had so much fun working there. All I did was sell donuts, sausage, all those things. But I made it fun. Like, I was the best sales girl that they ever had because I used to dance while selling to people. I made it fun for myself. So wherever you are, wherever you find yourself, you need to just make it work, wing it. So I did that for a year, and then I entered school, and I started the journey of architecture, 7 whole years, oh goodness. And then while I was in school, I started modeling. I have that hustle spirit. You just have to be doing something. You can't just wait for things to happen to you. You know, you have to work. You need to do something. So I started modeling. I started selling makeup. At the time, Tara had just started her brand, Orikilewa. I got a makeup box. I was selling stuff to people. I started doing stuff. I didn't just wait. I didn't just go to school for going to school's sake. So number 2, volunteer. What are you doing with your ASU strike? What are you doing with your holiday? What are you doing with the break? Are you just chilling at home watching Trace and Sound City? What exactly are you doing? Well, I love to volunteer. I like to do stuff. I like to work with people. I always tell people volunteering is the quickest way to learn anything. Do you want to learn how to be a videographer? Look for someone who you respect who's a videographer. Intern with that person for 6 months. You just never know what you pick up. Do you want to be a makeup artist? Look for someone who does makeup. Intern with the person. Don't think about the money now. Money will always come. Think about what you are gaining. Think about the experience that you're gaining by working with that person. Okay, number 3, this, well, sort of still related to volunteering. Be open to learning new things. Don't just say, oh, because I came to school to study political science, therefore, my whole life revolves around political science. Try new things, try other things, travel. Don't wait till you have a visa to London or to Rome or somewhere fancy and exotic to Mykonos, to Santorini, Greece. How many states in Nigeria have you visited? Think about that. There's so many places to go to in Nigeria, but we're so concerned with, oh, we want to go to all the exotic spots, you know. How many states have you been to? Ah, that's pretty decent. Some people have never left their hometown. You know, try stuff. Be adventurous. Try new food. Learn a new language. Learn an instrument. Be open-minded. That's the only way to learn new stuff. Think of what you enjoy that you also do well. So it goes without saying that your passion lies in the stuff that you enjoy doing. What is that thing that gives you joy that even if you weren't making money from it, you would still be happy? Has anybody ever thought about that? Right? Ask your friends for feedback. So what do your friends really think about you? Sometimes you might need to step out of yourself to be able to see and ask the people around you what they think about you, what they think you are good at. You might not know, but somebody else might be watching you and seeing that thing and might be able to spot it. So ask your friends for feedback. Identify your professional hero. So is there anybody in any field that you admire, that you enjoy what they do? Is there anybody that you're watching closely? Find that person and literally, legitimately stalk the person. It might not be anybody you can see physically. It might be somebody on TV, it might be a writer, it might be a poet, it might be somebody. Just follow their work, like really just stalk them. That's the best way to learn something from anyone. Shadow the person, like let the person become angry at you. Like, what do you want? Okay, so when you eventually do find your passion, what do you do with it? How do you turn it into something profitable? How do you churn it? I would say number one, talk to a mentor. Who is that one person that you go to when you're trying to figure things out? The mentor might not be an official mentor-mentee relationship. It doesn't have to be spelled out. It might be a pastor, it might be an older brother, it might be an uncle, a father, somebody that you can ask questions and brainstorm with. Number two, save money. Before I left my job, I was not just adventurous enough to just jump out and say I'm not doing architecture again, I'm going into media, and then I was broke. No, like I was prepared for it. Can you sustain yourself for a whole year on the money you have saved before you switch careers? That's a question you need to ask yourself. This is in terms of switching careers now. So you need to think about that. You need to save ahead of time for that period. Number three, just do it. Stop planning. Stop overthinking. Stop overanalyzing. Get up and do it. What are the things that you need to get to that next position? What are the things you need to do? What are the things you need to buy to become a makeup artist? What are the things you need to do to start your blog? Number four, show your work. This one I struggled with it for a long time. You know how Nigerians have this fake humility? Does anybody understand what I'm saying? It's God, it's by the grace of God. It's just God. Shut up! What did you do? How did you get to where you are? It's not just God. You did something, right? Okay, so in terms of showing my work, let me tell you how I struggled with it. You know how you are trying not to seem like you are arrogant or you are overconfident or like, no man, I don't even know how to explain this now. Like, I used to feel telling people what I did was a form of boasting. Does that make any sense to anyone? But if you're good at something, you should scream it from the rooftops, like louder for the people at the back to hear. You are good at it. It's God that gave you the talent. Don't apologize for it. If that's what you know how to do, shout. Let the world know. First of all, you say you are an entrepreneur, you started a business. Who knows? Who have you told? Who is going to buy your product or your service if you've not told anybody? So the number one thing you have to do is start with friends and family. Who are the people you have around you? Send out WhatsApp broadcasts. Broadcasts are annoying, but still send it. It's your data, they will not beat you. So we use social media. That's one way we can show our work. Secondly, you need to have a brag-a-log. The first thing that I did after the story we told was to talk about myself, what I do. I started by saying my name is Delphine, I have a background in architecture. That's called a brag-a-log. You need to have a small paragraph, like when you meet people, things that what you say to introduce yourself. Something concise and short that you say. Very well rehearsed. Anybody here? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys an example of how to show your work. It might seem, what's the word now? Intrusive or maybe a tad annoying, but trust me, it works. Everybody pull out your phones. Real quick. You know how I mentioned I have a YouTube channel called The Delphinator TV? Okay, so open your YouTube apps. Yeah, somebody's smiling. So tap the search bar and type THEDELPHINATOR The Delphinator TV. So you see a button right there when the page opens. It says subscribe. Click that button. Thank you very much. That's basically how to show your work. Like, don't apologize, don't be shy, don't feel like, oh, what would they think about me? It's your work, they will not beat you, I promise you. Give yourself time to grow. So it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to just blow. Even the people that just blew, they started from somewhere. They did not just blow. I don't know, for some reason it's the musicians that come to my head when I think of blowing or the blow down. So our Davido, Whiskey, Mr. Easy, they started from somewhere. They didn't just wake up and blew. You know what I mean? Like, where were you when Whiskey was in Ojo Leba in that small studio when he was producing songs and stuff that people never even heard? We were not there, but we know when he blew because that's the part that we can see, you know. It's like planting a bean seed. Did you ever do that in primary school? Anybody plant here? If you come out and you're checking every single second, it looks like nothing is happening, you know? But something is happening. So you need to give yourself that. You need to be patient. They say growth does not occur in meters, it occurs in inches. Somebody needs to write that down. Growth occurs in inches, not meters. Precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. Be patient with yourself. It's not going to just happen overnight. Everybody's process is different and you need to learn to enjoy, well, maybe endure first, then enjoy the process, you know. Give yourself time to grow. Give yourself time to grow. It's not magic. So everybody just needs to take a chill pill. Tell yourself, relax. It does not happen overnight. I will not just blow. It takes time, you know. It takes time. Give yourself time to grow. I think that's my time. One, two, three. Activate Girls Conference! Thank you so much. Thank you.